Intangible Stories is not a guide to what you should see. It is a series about how we might learn to see a place. By exploring the culture, beliefs, folklore, and memories hidden behind buildings and landscapes, we walk through Japan with a deeper understanding of what cannot be seen at first glance. In this episode, we explore a historic district on the eastern side of Kyoto, Japan's ancient capital. We follow the sloping streets from Yasaka Pagoda toward Kiyomizu-dera, pass through the preserved townscape, and then enter Ryozen, a hillside shaped by memories of modern Japan. This walk begins on Yasaka-dori in Kyoto's Higashiyama district, east of the city center and south of Gion. The route passes Hokkanji's Yasaka Pagoda, climbs Ninenzaka and Sanneizaka toward Kiyomizudera, returns through the same slopes, then circles the Ryozen side before ending at Ninenzaka. The repeated streets are intentional. This route shows how pilgrimage, trade, preservation, and modern memory occupy the same hillside. Yasaka Pagoda belongs to Hokkanji Temple. The present 5-story tower is about 46 meters high and stands inside a neighborhood rather than within a large enclosed temple complex. That position made it a practical landmark for people moving between Kiyomizudera, Yasaka Shrine, and the streets below. The tower's history is older than the present structure, and the temple tradition connects its origin to Prince Shotoku, although the surviving pagoda dates from a later rebuilding. The streets around Hokkanji formed part of a wider temple town. Kyoto City's preservation plan explains that this district first developed around Kiyomizudera, Hokkanji, and Gion Shrine, then expanded along sightseeing and pilgrimage routes from the mid-Edo period onward. Tea shops, craft sellers, lodging, and food businesses served people moving between religious sites. The route itself helped create the commercial town. Ninenzaka is included within the Sanneizaka Important Preservation District for groups of traditional buildings. Kyoto designated the district in 1976, following national legislation that made it possible to protect not only individual monuments, but also groups of buildings and the environment around them. Here, stone paving, steps, walls, trees, and street markers are treated as parts of the historic setting. Preservation, therefore, applies to the street as a connected landscape. The lower Sanneizaka Street preserves the scale of a historic approach to Kiyomizudera. Many buildings combine a narrow frontage with commercial space facing the road. This pattern reflects the economy of a pilgrimage route. People needed food, rest, religious goods, ceramics, and souvenirs before and after visiting the temple. The businesses have changed, but the relationship between movement and trade remains visible. Sanneizaka is associated with a rather unsettling piece of local folklore. Anyone who falls on these steps will die within 3 years. It is not treated as fact. The story may have developed as a warning, reminding people to take care on the steep stone stairway. Another explanation connects the name Sanneizaka with prayers for a safe childbirth, offered by worshippers on their way to the Koyasu Pagoda at Kiyomizu-dera. There is no single proven origin for the name, but these stories have become part of the memory carried by generations of people who walked this slope. The stone steps themselves are protected as part of the district's historic landscape, together with its buildings and paved streets. They transformed a steep hillside into a pilgrimage route and guided countless visitors toward Kiyomizudera. Kiyomizu-zaka is a Monzen-machi street, a town that grew in front of a religious site. Kiyomizu-dera attracted worshippers from many social classes, and historical literature describes large crowds visiting the temple. That flow supported shops and crafts along the approach. The area also became associated with Kiyomizu ware, part of the broader tradition of Kyoto ceramics, which developed around the eastern hills before many kilns later moved elsewhere. Kiyomizu-dera was founded in 778 as a temple centered on Kannon, the bodhisattva of compassion. The temple suffered repeated fires, and most of the present major buildings were reconstructed in 1633. Its long popularity matters to the streets below. A pilgrimage site used for more than 12 centuries required routes, services, and places of exchange. The gate is therefore the upper boundary of a much larger cultural landscape. Descending Kiyomizu-zaka follows the same commercial route in the opposite direction. Historically, temple front businesses served both arrival and departure. Visitors bought food and offerings on the way up, then carried souvenirs, ceramics, and memories back into the city. The return journey was part of the pilgrimage economy, not simply the end of it. Sanneizaka's preservation is based on continued use. Kyoto's system distinguishes between traditional buildings, which are repaired to retain their historic exterior, and newer or altered buildings, which may be improved to harmonize with the district. This is why the street can contain contemporary businesses without losing every visual connection to its past. Preservation here is an ongoing negotiation among owners, residents, commerce, and public rules. Ninenzaka contains several types of Kyoto townhouses dating mainly from the late Edo, Meiji, and Taisho periods. The city's preservation plan identifies differences in height, facade treatment, roof form, and residential design, rather than treating every building as identical. Modern tenants adapt these structures under rules that protect the public-facing townscape. The result is continuity through controlled change, not a complete reconstruction of one historical year. The route now enters Ryozen, a hillside associated with the political upheaval of the late Edo period and the formation of the Meiji state. Kyoto Ryozen Gokoku Shrine was founded in 1868 to commemorate people who died in the movement that brought down the Tokugawa shogunate. Memorials here include figures such as Sakamoto Ryoma and Nakaoka Shintaro. The area must be approached as a place of commemoration, not as a theatrical setting for heroic legends. Ishin-no-Michi, or the Road of the Restoration, leads through this memorial landscape. Its modern name directs attention to the way later generations organized memory in physical space. Shrines, graves, museums, gates, and street names turn the hillside into a route for learning about the 19th century. The pagoda visible from this side belongs to a much older religious landscape, so the view brings medieval temple history and modern national memory into the same district. From the higher stairway, the preserved district can be read as a network, rather than a row of isolated attractions. Kyoto's plan protects buildings together with streets, steps, stone walls, greenery, and important views. This approach recognizes that the value of Higashiyama comes from relationships between temples and shops, slopes and houses, landmarks and ordinary roofs. A panorama makes those relationships easier to understand. The walk ends at Ninenzaka after moving through 4 connected layers of Higashiyama. A temple landmark, pilgrimage streets, a living commercial district, and a memorial landscape of the Meiji Restoration. The district survives because worship, business, residence, tourism, and regulation continue to overlap. When walking here, look beyond individual monuments. Notice how routes create culture and how preservation depends on people still using the streets. Higashiyama is held together by routes. The streets carried worshippers, supported commerce, organized memorials, and now guide preservation. Yasaka Pagoda and Kiyomizu-dera are major landmarks, but the district's cultural value also lies in stone steps, shop fronts, homes, and repeated daily use. When you walk here, follow the relationships between these elements rather than treating each stop as a separate attraction.